For 2 years, they were untouchable. 3 men, 1 mission. Black tactical gear, silent entrances, and absolute control.
They didn't ask for permission. They didn't need approval. They took over WWE with precision and dominance, and no one could stop it until one chair swing changed everything. This is the story of the day. The most dominant faction of a generation collapsed from the inside. The moment Brotherhood turned into betrayal. The night Seth Rollins made a choice that reshaped WWE history. This is the story of the day. The Shield imploded. From the moment they arrived, the Shield felt different. Not flashy, not loud. They were cold, calculated, and relentless. They entered through the crowd, dressed for combat, moving with a singular purpose. They didn't pose for the cameras. They didn't celebrate their victories. They simply executed. Roman Reigns was raw, untamed power. Dean Ambrose was chaos controlled by pure instinct, and Seth Rollins was the mind, the architect that connected everything. Together, they weren't just a team. They were a system. Every match followed the same blueprint. Break the rhythm, isolate the target, and end it without mercy. Veterans fell, champions stumbled, legends were forced to adapt or fail. The Shield didn't chase respect, they took it. Backstage, they were viewed as the future, arriving far ahead of schedule. On screen, they felt completely inevitable. Titles followed, main events became routine, and the audience began to accept a new reality where the Shield was at the top of the food chain. But dominance creates pressure, and pressure exposes cracks. As WWE evolved around them, the spotlight intensified. The Shield were no longer just winning matches. They were carrying the weight of massive expectations. Roman Reigns was being positioned as the centerpiece of the next era, the next big thing. Dean Ambrose thrived in unpredictability, untouched by structure or rules. And Seth Rollins was watching. He was observing. He wasn't the strongest member. He wasn't the loudest. But he understood timing better than anyone. Rollins recognized what history had proven time and time again. No faction lasts forever. Opportunities shrink, power shifts, and someone always pays the price for it.
Behind the scenes, the authority tightened its grip on the company. Control mattered, alignment mattered, and loyalty became a form of leverage.
For Seth Rollins, the future wasn't guaranteed. It had to be secured. Ironically, on screen, the Shield had never looked stronger. They stood together against the system itself. 3 men united against control and manipulation. They spoke of trust, of brotherhood, of standing together no matter the cost. And the audience believed every single word, because absolutely nothing suggested what was coming next. Then came the match that would change everything, a 6-man tag team match. High stakes, with championship implications on the line. The Shield stood side by side in the ring, wearing the same gear, showing the same focus. There was no hesitation, there was no warning, just the sickening sound of steel meeting flesh. Seth Rollins raised a chair and drove it directly into Roman Reigns' back. The sound echoed through the arena. For a moment, time itself seemed to stop. Confusion replaced confidence. Shock replaced unity. Dean Ambrose turned around, trying to process what he had just seen. Before he could even react, the chair struck again, this time laying him out. In a matter of seconds, the Shield was finished. They weren't beaten by an opponent. They weren't outmatched. They were betrayed from within. Rollins stood alone, surrounded by his fallen brothers. And standing behind him was the authority he had just chosen. The reaction from the crowd wasn't cheers. It wasn't even boos. It was stunned, silent disbelief. This wasn't a simple betrayal for a storyline. This felt personal. Seth Rollins didn't just leave the Shield. He systematically dismantled it. The aftermath changed everything. Roman Reigns was forced into a solo role earlier than anyone expected. The pressure on him intensified overnight. Every move he made was scrutinized. Dean Ambrose embraced instability. Fueled by the betrayal, he became sharper, more dangerous, and far more unpredictable. And Seth Rollins, he became the most hated man in WWE overnight. Opportunities immediately followed him. Protection from the authorities surrounded him. Championship matches came faster than ever. But so did the consequences. Every arena remembered. Every crowd reminded him of what he'd done. Because fans didn't see a brilliant strategy. They saw a brother turning his back on his own family. Yet history tells a more complicated story. The betrayal worked. Rollins reached heights that might have otherwise remained unreachable for him. World championships. Main event status. He built a legacy founded on ambition and controversy. But the cost was permanent. Every Shield reunion that followed felt fragile. Every alliance carried an unspoken doubt. Years passed. Injuries reshaped careers. New eras arrived in WWE. Roman Reigns eventually became the defining force of his generation. The tribal chief, Dean Ambrose, carved his own path elsewhere, redefining himself entirely. And Seth Rollins reinvented himself again and again, surviving and thriving through constant adaptation. But no matter how much time passed, that single moment remained. Because betrayals in wrestling aren't forgotten. They're remembered forever. The chair shot became a reference point in modern wrestling history. It became a symbol of ambition overtaking loyalty. Even today, fans still debate it. Was the breakup inevitable? Was it a necessary evil for all three men to succeed? Or was it the moment something truly irreplaceable was lost forever? The Shield burned brighter than almost any faction before it. But it also burned incredibly fast. And sometimes, the most powerful empires don't fall to outside enemies. They collapse because one person inside decides to change the future, before the future leaves them behind. The Shield didn't end with a loss, it ended with a choice. And WWE is still living with the consequences of that choice today.